You just got to let me turn.
No.
Don't be a prick.
I'm scared. We're Jess and Dan, and together we've bought a semi-falling down farm in Scotland, and we're documenting the whole process of putting it all back together again into a family home with you guys. So if you never want to miss an update, hit the subscribe button and the bell icon. But for now, let's see what we got up to this time. We're picking straight back up with the cottage inside the lounge / current office situation. If you haven't watched part 1 for this room, please go ahead and check it out. At the end of this video, I'm going to go through how much everything cost, which I think will be interesting, but we're literally jumping straight in. So with Dan off on his complex cuts, he actually nailed everything first time, much to his surprise.
Well, they milled miles off. How is that? Fucking perfection.
Happy Dan, happy Dan. It was time to pop the light up. This light is one that we've brought up from our previous property. It never actually did get put up in that one. Dan's doing his normal thing and he needed my help.
No, you need to serve up height on this side.
Oh my god, okay. Well, whatever height hits you on the head when you walk past. Well, any height's fine for me because I don't get hit.
So I was thinking that because it gives you width clearance.
Gives you clearance.
Yeah.
I mean, who's taller than you?
Well, there you go.
How tall are you?
6'5".
6'5". So, yeah, I'm fine with that.
I mean, you did have all that to play with. I just took the executive decision to cut all that off.
Oh, see you bye.
With the correct length identified, it was in the process of just popping it up there. As I've mentioned, we will link to stuff in the description. The older things that we've brought with us, I'm going to try and remember what they were and where they were from. And if they're still available, I will pop a link for them in there as well. So this is an old thing.
Can you remember where these slats were from?
These were from Industville.
Years and years ago.
Years and years ago, probably 4 years ago.
Was it that long?
Well, it would have been, yeah, because the first light was, well, the first light I bought from them was probably 7 years ago. Can't wait till someone comments in, are you certified to BS 1674, edition 12, volume 3? No, pal, I'm putting a light fit, not wiring a house.
It's a good job, really, isn't it? Is there a bulb in here?
Bulb's in there.
Oh, it's this one.
Energy efficiency happening right here. I am an absolute giant at 5'4" tall, so the things I can help with, I get very excited about. I'm glad I was able to help on that one, and then it came to the moment of truth.
Ready?
Nailed it. Time to put up our little curtain hooky thingamajiggies, and of course these were the hairboards. Dan selected these from the shop, so we're just checking that they do match everything. They're fairly close, and of course they do match the curtain rail finials as well. The screw hunt was fairly ongoing.
Screw you.
Right then, Daniel, I need some tassels.
Nipple tassels. Where have we put the tassels?
They're on the desk.
Whee! If I came and stayed here with that top glove, it was wonky, I'd want the refund.
It's a good job the hair's then, isn't it?
Go and find my shelves, which are very integral to the feeling of my little corner. We're certain that the shelves came with us. They've definitely been moved up. We just can't find them because we think they're in a drawer. The problem is the drawers have sort of seized a bit shut, so I needed Dan's help to get into them.
Give me a lift.
Oh God.
Should be a little plastic stop there.
Oh, I've got it, yeah.
Pull it down and then slide the drawer up past it.
Goodness me. How'd you pull it down?
Right, I'll pull it.
No, I'm getting it. Ow, I cut my finger.
Inside.
2, 3, 10. Here they come with me because you look so fair. I really want to make you mad.
Are you happy?
I will be when I get stuff done. Yeah. You're going to be restricted as to what you can do. Just a square word because you've got soft and stack with that.
Right, so why'd you...
if it's done to new regs, it should be straight line.
Right, inside the Google Drive, there is Meg's photographs, which could be our reference.
Large.
Small, medium, on the angle,
Yeah.
large. That's not how we had it in the dining room, is it?
No, it's differently.
I think we'll go with this one for a corner.
Okay. How high do you want the lowest shelf? Just from the bottom of the top shelf.
Of course, I'm recreating filming corner here, and Dan's giving me, Dan's basically doing it, if we're being honest. You'll see the result of this a little bit later on, because I thought it would be helpful to include how it looks from inside a camera lens. But yeah, so that's what we're doing here. And don't panic, the skirting board is still not actually put on dry fit. A new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life. What are we doing, Dan?
Putting your shelves up for you. Who's that all? That's what I'm doing.
Oh, can't find the hole.
Story of my life.
In the videos, there's only going to be sort of like above my head, isn't there, Dan? So the floor doesn't actually, it's not even in it, is it?
Unfortunately, the head is still in it, but yeah.
Brutal. He's always so mean to me. I feel like I should be more offended, but I find it funny, so it's okay. We actually did go through quite a few different drill bits. Are these drill bits? I don't know. Anyway, all of ours and all of our kits have been sort of like smushed off the end, so it was not as straightforward as we'd have liked popping these in here. However, Dan got the job done at the end of the day. So this is now the third time these shelves have come. These are old shelves. I will put the link to the shop in the description. However, the price has increased since 5 years ago when they were first purchased, okay? But I will pop them down in the description, but they're not going to be included in our total of how much the room costs later on. Next, it was time to pop the drawers downstairs. If anybody does remember these drawers, these were in the studio. So these were in the studio and we need them for work. And then I couldn't decide what plant pot needed to stay, but when I had decided, nailed it, popped that in there, happy and confident with my choices. And then Dan's desk came down. So this is Dan's standing desk. And at the same time, I decided I was going to start working on a little bit of an upcycling project because a lamp was left by the previous owners. It's been left in this house for about 3 years, as far as we're aware, 3 to 4 years, and it was super dusty and super manky. So went ahead and gave it a clean with some disinfectant and antibacterial stuff and a good dust. And this was I was quite excited actually about doing this. I don't know why, but there we go. The light does work absolutely fine. And so I got new bulb for it and also a new shade. We'll talk about it all a little bit later on. But yeah. So 60 watts max. So you think it'll be all right with a 4 watt LED? When I managed to get all of that plastic wrapper off, popped it straight on the top there, popped the bulb in, and then went ahead going to move it off into its final resting place, the position there. I'm really, really happy with this. I think it works so well with the room and then also with other things that we're going to talk about in a minute, okay? So just wait with me. At the same time, Dan was off to go and start his sanding process and his painting. You can see the state of this radiator. We are trying to reuse as much as we can from the property itself, but when we had the new central heating fitted, we did purchase some new radiators for upstairs because there weren't radiators upstairs. This one, however, did exist, so Dan's sanding it all the way back because it's chipped and rusted in places, and then he's going to go ahead and give it a prime coat and then repaint. At the same time, he's also doubling up with his priming work by priming the existing / retained woodwork. That is the only bit that we left in this entire room in the end, and we're going using that bin primer. It's actually a really good primer, but you guys, she's got a really strong smell. She is smelly. Like it's not a nice experience. For me personally, I find the smell very offensive. It's just very, very, very drippy. So So you've got to be careful of that too. Popping up into the shelf area, I need to film a resource. So I'm now on resource mission. I'm now in work mode and I only care about what's happening up at the back. Now, throughout this, you guys might be having a mini panic about how many cables we've got everywhere. We're not using cable tidies in here. We're not using any trunking, just because this is not the end use of this room. So we're not going to do something we're going to have to fix later, okay?
Because it might be that for the video, so that the corner can be in, it goes that way.
You weed it, Sam?
Yeah, no, just a normal one.
I needed you guys. I needed the tripod plate, to be honest, to put the actual camera on. And we're now here watching me set up. So I was trying to find out a way of getting a shot without having that down cable in. In the end, abort mission. Just move on because the members needed their resource. And so this is me setting up to film a resource for our photography tuition membership platform. I'm never good at explaining this, am I? Like, really bad. But yeah, so that's the shot.
That's the view we got.
So far. And it was just a case of sort of finishing up little bits and pieces to make sure that I was happy with it before going ahead and actually preparing the microphone. So I thought it was just quite fun to include these bits because no one sees behind the scenes and loads of our members watch these videos. So you guys, this is what's happening at the other side. But it was time to go.
I do have to say, it's not like the best flattering angle for you guys down here, but nobody can see you guys down here on this one, which is also recording.
So welcome to Scotland, welcome to the cottage. But without further ado, let's jump into this resource. And the resource was being filmed, and upstairs, Dan's trying to be as quiet as a little dormouse whilst he goes and primes the skirting. So quick sand on those and then heading off to give them a prime and then give them a paint. And this is essentially how Dan spent his time, rotating through the door frame to the radiator and then up to the skirting boards upstairs. So this is just in an upstairs bedroom, which literally looks like that at the moment. Don't worry, we're moving upstairs soon. Don't panic, you'll be here and along for that ride as well. But it was really important that we got all of this skirting done so that it could actually be fitted to the wall instead of just being stuck on with a dry fit / resting against the wall. It was needed to be finished. With the majority of those bits and pieces done and in the final state of drying, Dan was beginning to prepare for the end of putting it all back together again. So a quick re-hoover, it's been a few days. You can see how drippy-droppy that primer is. And now is the moment of truth to just check Dan's cut around the door frame. And to be honest, I wasn't 100% convinced, but I feel like I just shouldn't have been so lacking in confidence of my husband's ability to cut laminate boards. So there's a few little bits that we might want to redo, and we might replace this one actually in full, to be fair. But we've sat the join right underneath the door because the door actually sits a little bit proud. It's a strange one. Remember, we're reusing stuff. It's all got the character. If we don't have to purchase new stuff, then we're not. But I absolutely love this laminate. I'm so happy with it in terms of the colour and the pattern. We talked about that last time. And then it was time to go ahead and stick some skirting to the wall.
I might need your assistance here, Pumpkin.
Sure, what can I do?
Stick this on the wall.
Right, let's just go. Well, actually,
Obviously, I've got to get it past the pipe.
yeah,
first.
mine's an easier job because
Yeah.
I'm already on the floor.
You just got to let me turn.
No.
Don't be a prick.
I'm not. I'm scared. Daddy's gonna touch it. No,
Yes, but I've also got to get it through the pipes without scratching the skirting.
Pull your right hand back. Pull your right hand
I
back.
can't, Jess, because they're the ones.
Ready? We're gonna do stickies. How do we do it?
Just literally press it against it.
1, 2.
7.
Everybody's going to have different ways that they think this should be done. Like, that's just the norm. I mean, that's life, isn't it? That's especially the internet and social media. So we opted for going with the adhesive method first, and then if needed, we would back it up with a nail gun. And to be honest, the adhesive did work quite well up to a point, and we'll talk about that in a second. But no issues, no problems with the adhesive going and working on there. There was a couple of sneaky tight bits, but no problems whatsoever. I do think, although it's kind of a boring profile bull nose, it does work quite well. Obviously, we're matching with the rest of the house so that we can try and retain.
The issue is I've gone off to stay for a long, long time ago.
Do you know what could be the exact width.
What?
The light stand with some padding on it.
Yes.
Got a lot of them.
Yes, 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 yes.
I need something padded on the top though, Dan.
Yes. Yes.
Are you there?
Yeah.
How much tension can you put on it? Is that enough for you?
Yeah, that's enough.
Unorthodox? Yes. Effective? Absolutely. Absolutely.
I feel like this is like photographer DIY.
Photography DIY was working well, and I was there to just assist on the late nights that we spent doing this. Dan was not always happy with my assistance, in all fairness.
Well, let me tilt it, yes, if you want me to line up the corner.
Sorry.
There you go.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Stressed Dan coming out there. I did say to Dan how easy was sticking new skirting on compared to trying to fix the old stuff, because it was a little bit choppy. So aside from Dan being a little bit stressed about just getting this job done in here so he could move on to bigger and better things, it was a case of using all the photography equipment to make everything work. I was really, really, really happy that this was done.
It's quite effective.
Out the way, Jess, I need to look at what I'm doing.
The last piece going into place there round the front of the fire. And then we went and switched our attention to radiators.
Committed. You in?
I'm in. You in.
Perfect. So painted radiator on. It was time to just do the finishing touches on that. I thought it looked great. Well done, Dan. And then turn it on and hope for the best. So this radiator was off when the central heating was originally fitted, like as in it was disconnected off the wall. So this is the very first time this radiator has had heating run through it in at least 3 years, as far as we know. So we didn't know if there was any cracks in it. We didn't know if there was any damage, but bled well. We got wet. And thank the Lord there was some heating. It's actually quite warm here in Scotland now at the moment. Like, there's no big issues with it. But I did peek over my desk while I was working one day to find Dan painstakingly filling this iffy bit in the wall. Old houses, you guys. If anyone is in an old house, you will understand. Walls be not straight at all. What are you doing?
The door stuff that was on the door that was there, I'm just trying to strip all the paint off so that I can put it back on when I come to hanging the door.
Is it working?
Yeah, it's getting there. And then I'll just go down with a finer sandpaper and it'll be a better finish.
Time for the laminate trim. Making it all wobble down.
Wibble wobble.
Should I go to the other side or?
Well, no, I'll just risk it.
Can you just stop moving?
Jess, if I stop moving, I don't get it done.
Okay.
My laser's visible on this one.
Hey, there we go. I'm actually so surprised nobody has come after us for PPE when Dan's using this saw so far. I feel like today might be that day, especially because I've just invited it in.
You beauty. Is that the right one, yes?
Are you ready?
Which one's the right one, Jess? So if we whiz that bit off, it'll be perfect fit. Ready?
I'm ready.
Are you ready? Are you ready?
I'm ready for tea.
Oh, hey, no, I can't do two things at once.
Yeah? Perfect. Ding, 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 ding.
Ding, 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 ding.
My sauce come off well. What is it?
Bosch G something or other.
Great. Alright. Pop in the description. Think that.
Oh!
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 Right.
Sticky time.
Stick.
So the sticky on this is going to be tough. Just because she's sticking on the slate.
That premonition was important. So we tried the original adhesive, abort mission, did not work, but we did give it a go. So this is us trying that adhesive. That adhesive did not bond wood to stone. So we headed back out to the shops and got some EBT plus adhesive. I mean, this stuff could stick the sun to the moon. I've never seen anything like it. be a bit careful with it. I would also recommend trying to match your colours better. We thought black, I thought black was the right answer. Dan felt anthracite grey would be the right answer. Dan was actually right in this scenario. I'm happy to admit that. I'm not too proud. Never mind. However, it does actually scrape off perfectly fine with a Stanley knife. So don't have a panic about that too much. You do need to get into it. Be slightly firm on it. But it definitely does bond wood to stone. It's amazing. It's amazing stuff. We're going to use it for some gutter repairs that we've got to do actually, because it can be used outside in all weathers depending on which one of the tubes you get. 10 out of 10 for this adhesive at this stage. I might revise that opinion later on, but for now, it's a winner. Refixing the door back on, utilising those old hinges. We did just end up taking the paint off them. No one looks at hinges. We're all right with them for now. If we feel like we need to replace it at a later date, then we will. Don't come after us. It's all right, you guys. So popping those back on, and then it was time to bring the door back down. It's actually a lot easier to refit an old door than to do a new door. The doors have character. We've talked about that as well. I'm struggling a little bit with the doors. I think new doors just look neater, but the old doors have got dimples, cracks, dents, scratches, all sorts. And no matter how much we sanded and how much we filled, they were not going to come out perfect. It does fit the place though. It does fit the place. So after the hinges went back on this one, we put the door back on. And that was an adventure in itself because Dan wanted me to give it a go.
You're capable of putting screws in a door. If not, you're not doing a renovation. There you go.
I'm starting with which one?
The bottom one.
Right, okay.
If you don't want to use the impact driver, my handheld one's on the floor, on the stairs.
Why would I want to make it harder for myself? That makes no logical.
That's what you did when you got with me. You made life harder for yourself.
Maybe. I can't believe that this is now fallen to me to be the door person. Right, so I need it to just be high, bro. Really? Excuse me.
I'm just trying to let.
Right, you have to just hold it still because you're a bit bibble bobble.
Why it's going to be magnetic? Why are you taking your bloody time?
Why is it not magnetic?
Because it's not magnetic.
Right, don't move.
I'm not moving. I just want you to screw.
None of these line up very well. Ugh. Oh.
And then do the top one.
What? Hang on. Uh-oh. I got it. Right, whoa.
Screw, yeah.
We got there in the end, and then it turned to putting all of the door fixtures and fittings back in. So like before, we're using the originals. I don't know why there's a lock on this door. We don't have a key for it, so let's just ignore that and work on putting these door handles on. New ones, again, we'll talk about them later on, including the cost.
Secure little door handle.
All right.
Yeah. I feel like you maybe should have put your bits on a floor that you can see.
Well, the bits were loose in the box because the bag was open. Like split.
Right then. Should we begin?
I'm saying there's instructions because it's not there for us. So.
It is important to note the instructions said do not use a drill. In the end, we did switch to a hand screwdriver because the screws de-headed themselves in about 0.3 seconds flat. Jobs are good on one side, and then we had a conundrum because the internal spindle was too long on the new ones, so we thought, let's give the old ones a go. However, unfortunately, the old ones were too short. So as Dan had a panic about what to do, suggested a hacksaw, but then we couldn't find our hacksaw anywhere. In the end, it took about an hour to find the right tools to be able to cut down the new spindle to fit. However, when that was done, we were all sorted good to go at putting on the handle on the opposite side, trying to stay as level as possible, of course. And then pop the cover on, like that. I don't want to get it threaded. Disaster, isn't it? There we go. You can see our door's character. And see you bye. After that, it was just a case of popping the final little bits of finishing touches in, which for me were the rug. We talked about this when we went shopping at the start of the previous video, and we'd already picked one. I wish this was slightly larger than it was. I think we should have sized up, but it's hard to tell without sofas in. Then Bramble went back up onto her top shelf. So my shelf set were complete apart from my trophies, which I forgot. They're coming up next week, so at least they're going to be there. And then we thought we'd have a chit chat before looking at the costings. Hiya!
Hiya!
Hiya! You have to talk.
Dry your eyes, mate.
You have to actually use words.
Yes, but when I use words, you aren't happy because I don't deep dive into shit. I'm like, new windows are due by the end of the month. That's the last thing really to be done on the room. At the moment, it's being used as our office space, as you can probably see and tell. Our long-term plan for it is it will be a lounge.
Yeah.
But at the moment, we need an office space to be able to run the businesses and record other content. And this is what has been dedicated as that.
And the only things that are in this room are the only things we've brought up from Yorkshire so far. So we don't actually have a whole boatload of furniture here yet, but we're due to move some stuff up. So there will be our sofa suite going in here fairly soon. Really.
Yeah, well, we don't have a choice because that's due to complete soon.
Yeah, so we've sold Yorkshire, which is a major... We've sold the county.
We've sold the county of
We've
Yorkshire.
sold the county of Yorkshire. We've sold our Yorkshire property. Fingers crossed it completes okay.
Yeah.
And when it does complete, we'll be moving everything up here anyway. And so it's actually good that we've got one room that's done and clean because there'll be a lot of artwork going in here that is currently lacking. So it feels so naked. At the moment, we've got Finn over in his corner. So for those who have followed us for this journey and previously beforehand, will know Finn and will know what happened with Finn. So the main thing for me was that Finn was up here with me the whole time. So Finn passed away just before we got the keys, which was heartbreaking for me, not just obviously because he'd passed away, but because he would have loved it. Yeah, we really wanted him to be here. So unfortunately the sale was delayed and he never got to come. So Finn is here in his corner with his little picture, and actually it matches the room quite nicely, to be honest. Big thanks to Digital Lab for printing his urn photo. So that was something that was really important for me as well. So Finn's here in his corner. We've got everything else and you've seen it all happening in real time. Bramble's also up on the top shelf. I popped her up there this morning. And the rug is here and down. The wall is just heaven. I think it's amazing. I've already picked artwork to go on it. I've spoken to...
You will learn over time.
Alex.
Artwork does not bother me at all. Jess says this room feels empty without artwork. I'm just like...
It's naked.
But it doesn't bother me. It's your thing. Like, I'm just like, okay. Anyway, should we do the walkthrough? Because you're rambling.
Well, it's exciting, isn't it?
Let's do the walkthrough.
Okay. Okie dokie. So on to the walkthrough. We're going back in time. This is what we moved into with no central heating in winter. And then I thought I'd do a vertical video just to show you kind of the same view, as it were, although it's kind of slightly more zoomed in. I mean, don't judge me, you guys. There's all sorts of little tiny bits that we're going to finish off, but we're going to finish them off when the windows are changed. So remember, you guys, the windows are changing. They're coming much lighter in colour and more traditional. Kinda. This was another previous view. First day in the property, we set up our camp because it was the fire room, and so with that fire in, kind of again, yes, similar-ish view, totally different vibes going on in there, but it's time to look at how much everything cost. And so I have a rundown. I'm going to run through it all, and hopefully you guys are going to stick with me. Remember, this is numbers and maths, and so don't judge. We'll go through one by one. First things first, we needed to plaster some of the room, and so the plaster was literally one bag of plaster, £9.50, so a British pound sterling, just for any doubt. And then we looked at the other bits and pieces in terms of the structural stuff. We're going to cover off the skirting first. So the skirting board in total for this room cost us £84.96. We're doing super precise here. And then we move on to the flooring. So the underlay was £62 for this room specifically, and the laminate, the second one, don't judge, was £219.78. The laminate trim that went around the fireplace was £15. So that's the floor covered off. So looking forward onto the paint, we'll go, well, backwards, I guess, onto paint, because Dan painted first. We went through, in terms of general wall paint, £156. That's not including the chimney. So that is mist coats, base coats, that is primer, that is the wood paint, and also the Dulux Timeless colour that we went for on the walls just in general. All in £156. There's a little bit of one pot left, but I don't think it's worthwhile kind of adding on there. The chimney paint, we used 2 pots, obviously 2 different colours to get that amazing finish, and hopefully these clips will show you some of the textures. I might throw a photo in there. We used the mallard green and wax khaki. There's half a pot of wax khaki left, and I have factored that into this pricing. So we're coming down to £69 for the chimney. Okay, we have the door handles. These were £22. Okay, £22 for the door handles on that door. The sockets were £42 for 3 double sockets. That's added up together, and then £10 for the light switch. If we look at our curtains, they're probably one of the most expensive parts of the room. The curtain pole itself was £42, the curtain hooks were £20, and the finials on the end of the curtain poles were £36. So that's for 2 of each one, all added up together, because we've got 2 windows. The curtains themselves were £150, so the curtains were quite expensive, and that's £150 for both pairs together. The tie backs were £12, so that's something to also factor into there. For the new lampshade on my little upcycled lamp, that was £22. Links all in the description below. And then we also have to add into here too the rug. So the rug was £75. I did want the slightly larger one, which I think was £80 or £85. Links to everything, like I've said, all in the description below. So when we add up everything that we used in this room, we end up at a grand total of £1,070.78, which we probably could have got down further by utilising, well, by not doing the feature wall and choosing some cheaper curtains and a cheaper curtain rail. I feel like those would be the main savings. Overall, we're really pleased with the room. We just need to add in a few other bits of furniture which we've got at our previous property for it to be finished in its present state. That includes our sofa and settees, also our TV, because we still don't have a TV up here 3 months in, and other bits and pieces that will just finish the room off properly. So overall, could we have done it on more of a budget? Yes. Do we think that we're happy with what we've done? Yes. Could we have spent more money to have a more polished finish? Yes. Can we imagine how much this would have cost if we'd have paid for somebody else to do all of it? I'd rather not. So yep, that's the lounge for now in its current state. Let's move on to see what happened elsewhere on the farm.